And so they are making their claims and selling and getting their new insights. That actually borders on the lack of respect. If you get into those areas, and I'm going to show you the ARF's response, they're not saying that, but it's very close to getting that far. So you understand the market. Now let's look at the public reaction. Number one, I talked about the hidden persuaders. Everybody has heard about the hidden persuaders, subliminal advertising. That is the most influential book about advertising. There's no other book that has managed to creep into the advertising code of most countries. Because of this book, subliminal advertising is banned. South Africa, England, Australia, and the States. Now, as I told you, 3 years later, the guy admitted this is a hoax. Lots of scientific studies were done, and nobody could replicate the result because it's a non-result. The question is, has it been unbanned? So I contacted the ARF. They said, no, still banned. You're not allowed to do subliminal advertising in the States. Now, of course, the thing is, if it's subliminal and you can't see it, how do they know that you're doing subliminal advertising? So I said, well, if it's banned, when last did somebody lodge a complaint? 1995, there was a complaint launched against a grunge band, because if you play it backwards, there are certain words that might be. But not an ad has been put up on that, but it's still being published. South Africa, it's still banned. I don't think it's ever that anybody has put any complaints against it. Once you ban, you do not unban. It's just the reality of life. And that's what happened here. That is what can happen to neuromarketing. Is banning easy? I don't know about your country. I can tell you about my country. It's the simplest thing in the world. The more any government is concerned about individual rights, the more democratic the government, the more laws they make. Okay? The more laws they make to protect the individual rights. The USA had about twice as many laws as Soviet Russia at its height. Now, Soviet Russia controlled the people, but the US made more and more and more laws, and laws are thou shalt not. Any law means thou shalt not. So thou shalt not do subliminal advertising. Thou shalt not use neuro-marketing. And the way that you get it done is politicians have to do something. It's a fact of life. So you have a minister and somebody say, excuse me, sir, what is the government doing about neuro-marketing? And the minister says, neuro what? Oh, no, we are thinking about it. A year later, you ask the politician, okay, what are you doing about neuromarketing? He says, we're in the process of setting up a committee to investigate it. Next year, we have a committee that's investigating it. I'm awaiting the report. For 2 years, you'll be waiting for the report. And then everybody knows that that's not a good answer. So he says, are we getting my report this year? Now the chairman of this committee, with everybody that they've co-opted, all the neuroscientists who know nothing about advertising, that they pay a fortune to, compile this report. Having done their report, they now say, no, neuromarketing is not a bad thing, don't worry. Rubbish. There's no committee that will end with that conclusion. That means you haven't earned your money. You have to come up with a recommendation. And the recommendation would be, well, ban it. Or let's make a law about people should be using neuromarketing in the following. That's how it happens with an incredible amount. That's how the anti-smoking stuff has happened. And how do you stop that law afterwards. You can't. Like subliminal advertising, you can't. If you think I'm overrating these things, oh, that's beautiful. The less science there is, and the more scaremongering, the more likely it is that it will be banned. Here's a very nice video. It gives me a time to blow my nose. And
this is the most powerful street in America, more powerful than Wall Street, Hollywood Boulevard, or Pennsylvania Avenue. The people who work on this street can make or break the financial fortunes of industrial empires. They choose the values that are promulgated through society, and they package and sell the political candidates we elect into office. It's Madison Avenue, home of the $160 billion American advertising industry, which fuels $2.5 trillion in consumer spending. Now, a lot of decent and honest people work in advertising, and at their best, they serve the public interest by informing us about the availability of rationally desirable products and services and the policy proposals of political parties and candidates. That seems like a good thing. But at its worst, advertising has a dark side that unconsciously manipulates a vulnerable public to buy things and ideas they don't rationally want. Now, that's not a good thing. And we have a name for that dark side of advertising. We call it spellcasting. The public sees it since 9 out of 10 Americans don't trust advertising, and they think it's filled with lies, and that there's truth in what Will Rogers said. Advertising, it's the art of convincing people to spend money they don't have for something they don't need. And boy, do they try to convince us. Did you know that the number of 30-second TV commercials seen in a year by an average child is about 20,000, and the number of TV commercials seen by the average person by age 65 is about 2 million? Add internet, print, radio, and in-store displays, and the number of ad impressions we see doubles or triples. And let's be real and candid. Most of those ads attempt to appeal to our subconscious and unconscious mind and bypass our rational thinking. But it's been a hit-and-miss proposition for the ad industry since there's been no reliable way to know if their voodoo magic is working. That is, until now. Because of advances in neuroscience and medical technology, the spellcasters are now able to accurately pierce the human subconscious and unconscious veil. It's an Orwellian action which has the potential to inhibit human beings' conscious choosing, whether you're selecting a product, a service, or a politician, and turn us into a human-like Pavlov's dog. This disturbing practice is called neuro-marketing, and even the industry says it's controversial. Neuro-marketing is when the spellcasters use MRIs, EEGs, and other brainwave tools to view consumers' preconscious neural patterns, get into their thoughts and beliefs which even they don't consciously know, and ultimately tap into their reptilian brain to find out how to create unconscious and irresistible urges to buy their stuff.
Imagine a world where companies could read our minds too. Light beams may be a bit far off, but fMRI scanning is already being used to try to figure out what we want to buy and how to sell it to us. It's a new field called neuro-marketing. One of its pioneers is neuroscientist Gemma Calvert, co-founder of a London company called Neurosense. Do you have a lot of clients?
Yes, such as Unilever, Intel, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, MTV or Viacom.
That 60-minute piece is just the tip of the iceberg about what is happening on Madison Avenue. Working with MSense, Microsoft put EEG caps on gamers and showed them ads on the video game system. It tracked which parts of the brain were stimulated by the ads. Ads that excited several parts of the brain are supposed to make viewers more likely to go out and buy the product advertised, says Michael E. Smith, neuroscientist at Neurofocus. Forbes magazine, November 16, 2009. Remember the commercial, "Here's your brain on drugs"? Well, here's a brain being scanned while it's on a very powerful drug. The drug is a TV commercial. See the brain light up? That's the unconscious brain responding to stimuli. Spellcasters want to learn what turns us on inside and actually seduces us, which even we don't know about, and use that secret knowledge to sell us stuff. You think that's creepy?
The moment you know emotional engagement and memory retention, you extract from that purchase propensity or purchase intent or persuasion. Or how are you seduced by the trailer enough to go watch the movie? Are you seduced enough by the promo to watch the show? Are you seduced enough by the ad to go buy the product? We extract this very precisely.
How does that video make you feel? Do you feel good inside knowing that companies are trying to read your thoughts and feelings, and to what degree you are unconsciously seduced by an ad, a trailer, or a promo? The concerns about neuromarketing are well documented. Just Google it. You'll find articles from Forbes, Businessweek, Commercial Alert, Frontline, and others exposing the unethical dark side of neuromarketing. And neuromarketing isn't being used just by consumer product companies. Politicians are also in on the game.
There's no doubt about that the politicians are incredibly interested in this. Now, first of all, let me say one thing. I don't think any politician will admit that they're using it if they're using it. Of course they won't. That will really be a guarantee for them losing the entire election. So I think that by election 2012 we will see the whole polling take place using fMRI or partly using fMRI. If politicians are going to use it to craft the campaign, guess what? I don't think we're going to find out. I think they will always keep it as a secret.
Neuromarketing is in fact already being used to create more effective political propaganda to unconsciously manipulate the unsuspecting voter.
Political campaigns spend millions of dollars on ads trying to get into the minds of voters. Now, there's cutting-edge technology that can literally show what people are thinking, and the campaigns are taking notice. Early Show national correspondent Jeff Glor is live in El Paso, Texas, with more. Jeff, good morning.
The question is how they really respond to these ads versus what they tell pollsters. And that's why we have Kim over here, who's undergoing a live brain scan. She is watching political ads right now, and the doctor is reading her results.
We need to wake up to what is happening and stop neuromarketing. If you agree, join with the World Business Academy, its founder Renato Brutico and its 80 fellows, who include some of the world's leading figures who are rekindling the human spirit in business, including Hazel Henderson, founder of EthicMark. Join with us and help us put an end to this unethical and creepy practice. Here's how. First, sign the online petition at ethicmark.org asking politicians and companies to not use the unethical practice of neuromarketing. And please do so now. We need your help. And second, join the Academy's EthicMark communities at Facebook and Twitter so we can let you know which politicians and companies agree to not use neuromarketing and which ones choose to be spellcasters and continue to think unconscious manipulation is ethical. And when you know that, you can make a truly conscious decision about where you want to spend your money and cast your vote.
Decent people amongst you, that is powerful stuff. That is Deepak Chopra, everybody knows who he is. He's signed there. He's got enough people. Martin Lindstrom is the most expensive marketing speaker on the circuit. 10 times as much as me. And what is he talking about? Subliminal advertising. He's explaining to them how Obama came into power, all the politics that we're going to have. That thing there is very, very, very convincing. And that thing there is saying, you guys are doing it. Unilever's doing it. They said, Coke is doing it. It's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous stuff. You need to sign it a little bit. Yeah.